My name is Angela, and I'm on a journey. I grew up in the church. My parents were very active in the church. I was very active in the church, but I lived a whole different life when I wasn't in church. I lived life my own way, the way I wanted to. I rebelled against the church, but what I knew of the church was rules and regulations. It wasn't so much about love and a relationship with God. It wasn't until I was 19 I got into a car accident where I flipped my car 3.5 times or something, and there was a guy who watched it happen. He thought for sure whoever was in that car was dead. So I probably should have been, but I walked out without a scratch, and from that point I just felt like it was time to reprioritize my life, to make sense of things, to make sense of this God who has called me to something I don't even know. So at that point, I started really on a different journey, a journey towards Christ and a journey towards what He wanted from me. I'd always had this passion from I don't even know where to go to Africa, actually. And when I was 16, I went to Belize, and that was the first time I remember so clearly driving down the road, and I looked off to the right, and that was the first time I saw a mud hut. And it was the first time that I realized that's real life for people. Somebody lives in that, a family lived in that. I'll never forget that image in my mind. When I was 20, it was 10 years ago now, I went to Romania for a month, and I saw things there that it just rocked my world. We went to a gypsy village, and the people there literally did not know how to clean themselves. They were just dirty, and the children were the rattiest children I've ever seen in my whole life. And it was the dead of winter. It was January, and these children were running around on frozen dirt and in snow. They didn't have any socks and shoes. It was I don't even know how to describe it. It was one of the most devastating things I've ever experienced in my life, that I just felt like this is where I need to be. This is who I need to be with. The following summer is when I took my first trip to Africa. When I got off the plane, I just remember it feeling really right, like it was exactly where I was supposed to be. But what I saw there was just devastating. I saw children who were mangled, and I saw children who had AIDS, and I saw babies carrying around babies because they had nobody to look after them. I saw orphans and street children. And it's so easy to come home and to forget about it. And I think that's part of my desire to be there and to go back and to be there this summer is because it's real, and I don't want to forget about those people. I don't want to pretend that it's not real life for those people. When I think about the poverty in Uganda, I can feel the pain inside of me knowing that that's life for people. And I sit comfortably in my heated home and I watch movies and find plenty of things to complain about. But then when I think about the reality for those in poverty in a place like Uganda, it makes me a little bit disgusted with myself. We are going with this opportunity to help build a training center and a church and a preschool and a home for a pastor, and we're giving somebody, a community of people, an opportunity to make something else, something more of themselves, with this hope that they have, with this life that they've been given. And it's just such a neat and very unique opportunity to be a part of that. This journey to Uganda has already begun and will continue long after we arrive home. We've been a part of raising funds, and we've made the Uganda team bigger than the 14 of us who are actually going to be getting on the plane. We've written letters. There are hundreds of people who have received letters to be a part of the giving team for Uganda. Our first response to our fundraising letters was from a family who makes so little. They have 2 small children. They hardly make anything at all, barely enough to make their own ends meet, and they gave us $100. And it just doesn't make sense, but I think that's the beauty of it, is that it doesn't make sense. It's a calling of Christ, and it's an obedience that those people had that enabled them to give. And it's something that may have seemed really simple to them, but the impact goes so far. When I think about the poverty in a place like Uganda and in other parts of the world, it is so overwhelming to me that I just don't even know what to do. So oftentimes I just sit and do nothing. And I wonder if that's a common thing, is that if we choose to not look at it, then maybe we can pretend it doesn't exist. But having been there before, I know it exists, and I've seen these people's lives. Recently, I have felt God asking me to take very seriously these small steps that I'm on to get to whatever final destination that is. And maybe there isn't even a final destination. Maybe it's just all about these steps. This journey involves us all, not just the group of us who are traveling to Uganda. I'm partnering with God and with New Hope to show Christ's love in Uganda. My name is Angela, and I invite you to journey with me.